One thing Spencer said to Alex in 1923 finale absolutely broke me. One line Spencer Dutton, Brandon Sklinner, said to his wife, Alex, Julia Schlattfer. In 1923 season 2's finale broke me because their outcome could have been different. Spencer and Alex took separate, but equally harrowing, routes to Montana in 1923 season 2. Kept apart until 1923's finale, Spencer faced hostility and violence on his long route back home to the Yellowstone ranch, while the pregnant Alex survived a series of horrible events in her quest to reunite with her husband. Spencer and Alex's operatic reunion in 1923 season 2's finale came with Dutton seeing his wife from his train to Bozeman. Alex was freezing to death after the brutal winter of 1924 killed her traveling companions, and she set their car on fire as a last-ditch, desperate SOS. Although Spencer rescued Alex, she was too far gone from hypothermia. Alex's hands and feet were necrotic and required amputation so that she could live. Instead, Alex gave the last of herself to deliver her baby. John Dutton and Alex died next to Spencer after one last night together. After Spencer rescued Alex, and they boarded his train in 1923's finale, a physician began tending to Alex's hypothermia. After the doctor told Alex that the female body could be miraculous, she responded with her typical wit, reminding her husband, "My body is a miracle." What Spencer told Alex next filled me with sadness, because it meant their fates could have gone in another direction. "You didn't have to go through all this. I was coming for you." Alex retorted with perhaps the best line in 1923's finale, "Couldn't take the chance. If you found someone else, how could I kill her from England?" Still, Spencer's admission means that if Alex had exhibited patience, she would not have had to endure the atrocities that befell her in the United States. After helping his uncle Jacob, Harrison Ford, and Aunt Cara Dutton, Helen Mirren, win their war with Donald Whitfield, Timothy Dalton, Spencer had every intention of going to England to find Alex. If Alexandra of Sussex had remained in England and waited for Spencer, she would have been desperately unhappy, but she would have lived. Tragically, Alex had no way of knowing that Spencer planned to save her next after he rescued his family and the Yellowstone ranch. It would have been months before Spencer would have called or written to Alex, and even longer for the former lion hunter to make his way across the pond to arrive at Alex's door. Had Spencer made his way to Sussex, England, he would have faced opposition from Alex's family, and the American cowboy likely would not have been welcomed. In that case, Alex and their baby would have run away with Spencer, and 1923 season 2 would have been very different. Spencer, Alex, and baby John have doubtlessly faced all new ordeals, but they would have been together. It wasn't the gunfire or the storm at sea. It wasn't even the way the camera lingered on the blood on Spencer's collar, as if to say, "He's already lost too much." No, what absolutely shattered me, what reached into my chest and curled cold fingers around my heart, was something far quieter. Something Spencer Dutton said to Alexandra in the final minutes of the 1923 finale, just as the sun dipped behind the horizon, and the two stood stranded, uncertain and undone. He turned to her, shoulders tired, eyes sunken with grief and grit, and said, "I'll carry the weight so you can dream again." That line, that one sentence, I felt it like a punch in the ribs. Spencer Dutton, the hunter, the soldier, the man who has stared down lions and survived war, wasn't talking about bullets or beasts. He was talking about her, about Alex. About the unrelenting toll this journey had taken on both of them. About the memories she could no longer hold on to because survival had taken their place. He saw the fear in her gaze when they were pulled apart. He saw the way she flinched at shadows now, not because she was weak, but because she had borne more than her share. and he offered to carry it all. What broke me wasn't just the tenderness in his voice, it was the tragedy beneath it. Because Spencer wasn't promising rescue, he was offering sacrifice. The weight he spoke of wasn't metaphorical, it was everything. Every piece of guilt he felt for dragging her into his war. Every loss he couldn't prevent. Every dream they'd whispered to each other under African skies that now felt a world away. He wasn't just a man in love. He was a man afraid that love wasn't enough. "I'll carry the waves so you can dream again." The line carried the ghosts of everything they'd been through. The shipwreck. The separation. The loneliness of the trenches he'd never truly left behind. It was Spencer trying to atone, even when there was nothing to atone for. And Alex, she didn't speak right away. She looked at him like she could see through the years he'd spent holding himself together for everyone else. Her face softened, not with pity, but with recognition. As if to say, "I see you. I see what this has done to you too." In that moment, I realized 1923 isn't just a prequel about legacy and ranches. It's a war story, yes, but it's also a love story forged in trauma. Spencer and Alex have been clawing their way toward peace through a world determined to tear them apart. And when he said those words, it felt like he was holding a fragile thing. Her hope, like it was the last egg in the nest. Because when Spencer offered to carry the weight, he wasn't just being noble. He was telling us who he really is. Not the warrior, not the Dutton hare, but a man who knew that the cost of keeping someone's soul safe might just be losing his own. The writers could have chosen anything, some big, sweeping declaration. But they gave us this, quiet strength. The promise of shelter, even when everything else is burning. And it hit me harder than any gunshot ever could. I've watched this final more times than I care to admit. I rewind to that moment every time just to feel the weight of it again. Spencer doesn't cry. He doesn't break down. But that's what makes it worse. It's the control in his voice, the restraint, the silent vow beneath it all. Because what he's really saying is, let me hurt so you can heal. Let me wake up from the nightmares so you can dream. Let me remember what we lost so you can remember who we are. I don't know if Spencer and Alex will ever find peace. I don't know if the Montana mountains they're trying to reach will welcome them or chew them up like it has so many Duttons before. But in that moment, with those 10 words, Spencer gave us the truest love story of all, the kind where survival isn't the end goal. It's redemption. And maybe that's why it broke me. Because it reminded me that real love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just someone standing beside you in the dark, whispering, "You don't have to carry this anymore." And if you've ever loved someone who was tired, really soul-deep tired, you know how much that means. It's everything.